Okay, I'm thinking this thing's recording. All right, y'all. Hey, welcome to Gabe's Nutritional Health Ramblings. Um, yeah, I'm still testing this thing. Got a logo right here. Got my name right here. Bit odd. First time I'm messing with Streamlabs. I figured this might be the better application to do this podcast, right? For a while, I was using just video recording, uploading Spotify, that kind of thing, doing YouTube uploads, but it kind of sucked and I hated it because was using this other program called Clipchamp, and it just sucked. But getting to the point, and little by little, I'm upgrading, right? It's pretty cool. Now y'all can see my pretty face. Okay, so welcome. If you're new here, please go back and look at our previous videos because, of course, there's a lot of insight to give from these videos. Talked about obesity, talked about diet, talked about deficiencies from a vegan vegetarian diet, talked about the benefits of a carnivore diet, and it just kind of goes on, right? Health is a very vast yet nuanced field that we gotta look into. And the thing about health is, we don't know everything. There's little tidbits and pieces of information that we encounter every day. It's a science of multiple sciences. It's evolving every day. So we try our best to keep up with the latest things and hopefully scrutinize these new studies, you know, very effectively, right? Because there's a lot of way to mess with studies. But I suppose today we'll talk about. I was thinking, right? These little Instagram things, little cute things, little crappy infographics. I'm not the best, but I try my best. I'm more of a guy who writes articles, right? And that way I'm very much more articulate. But getting to the point, right? One thing I noticed is the thyroid, very mysterious. Not a lot of people understand the thyroid. It's almost like this weird mystic thing. You can't see my thyroid because I got a big beard, right? But when it comes to the thyroid, it's responsible for your temperature. How often do you know a person that just cannot last outside, right? It's hot, right? They don't want to go out. They feel like they're dying, and it's like, come on, man. I know it's hot, but it's not that hot where you feel like you're dying. But internally, they do feel like they're dying, right? That they're being scorched or whatever, right? That they're in some microwave being boiled alive or something. And you gotta understand, you gotta put yourself in the other person's shoes because if you don't do that, then it's kind of like we go to a doctor. You say you have a problem, they're like, no, you're fucking crazy. Sorry, what you're talking about makes no sense. You're you're a lunatic. And we try not to do that because although we're not feeling the symptoms or what a person's feeling, we gotta extend ourselves to put ourselves in their shoes. Just as a person has an experience that we may never ever have, we should try our best to be empathetic and understanding towards what that might be, right? Like, I don't know what it's like to live without a limb, right? But I never want to know that, but I could imagine it sucks, right? Not have a leg or an arm, right? So, be empathetic, right? That's part of being a good person. So, when you look at clients, look at people, empathy is important because one of the markers of a person with thyroid problems, right? And it's usually hypothyroid. You might see more people with hyperthyroid, a little bit slept on, not as many as hypothyroid or slash Hashimoto's, which would be the autoimmune version of it. But really, it all comes down to understanding what is happening. And there's something I noticed. You put someone on a low carb diet, right? Low carb diet, eat a lot of meat, whatever, cut the carbs. For some reason, right? Again, I'm not a doctor, right? I'm only a nutritional therapy practitioner, but understandably, we've noticed that people and doctors got to be careful too, right? Because they might lose their license, and that sucks, right? You go 3 years to school, you work hard, and then you see the wrong thing, you might lose everything you worked for, right? And that's just it's bullshit, right? It's bullshit because people should, in the United States of America, be able to say what they want, even if it goes against the grain, right? You shouldn't need to be a professor somewhere with a very high decorated position to be safe. And today you can't be safe because even tenured professors get kicked out and fired. But getting to the point, right? In terms of physiology, because I could speak on physiology, right? In an educational manner, in understanding theories, this is how I could best operate and say things legally. So getting to the point, right? A person goes low carb, A1C goes down, goes below 5.7, they hit a 5.5, 5.1, a healthy A1C, and then magically they're just not diabetic anymore, right? You can never say the term cure because illegal. Can't claim such a thing, okay? But I believe some doctors in recent literature, because there's been a lot of RCTs, randomized control trials of keto diets, and what they found is it works. Amazing. It's been about 10, 11 years since keto got very popular, and I'm happy these studies are coming out because in the beginning it's like you're fucking crazy. No way. This can never be done. Even though it was done to help people back then with epilepsy, right? And even done back in the 1870s, 90s, there's old literature of doctors helping support people with obesity and diabetes, even though they were much more rare back then. But I've noticed you could take them off their statins at some point, right? Once they get healthy, right? You could take them off their metformin, their what's the new diabetic drug called? I always forget because I just think it's stupid. Semaglutide. I think that's the more pharmaceutical name for it. There's like Mounjaro and another one, right? Horrible, right? Apparently, some people are getting stomach paralysis, whatever that means. Probably not a good thing. I like eating food. I like digesting my food. My stomach got paralyzed. That might be a bad thing. I would assume, right? But we got to realize there is one group of people that never get off their medication. Again, not a doctor, can't treat, diagnose, cure, etc. Right? Only support. So my job here is to support you with nutrition and a great healthy diet that's bio individualized for you, right? Personalized for you. There is no one size fits all approach. We're all uniquely and sometimes vastly different and require different things, right? But what I noticed is why do people with thyroid problems get medication and they never come off of it, right? It's kind of weird, right? Every now and then I hear about a person with mental illness. They go a healthy diet, workout, gets done, complete 180, able to get off of their medication, right? And why do thyroid people stay on it, right? What are they doing? Does it work? Is it helping? Is it treating? I don't quite understand why you take a drug for so long and yet even people that try to be healthy, right? They go through different means of health, right? I mean, there's a vast world of health, and we do things that help. Sometimes we do things that hurt us. It depends, right? So I guess we're looking more in Hashimoto's kind of thing, right? Autoimmune, idiopathic, right? What does idiopathic mean, right? It means I don't know what's happening. I really don't. It's just happening, and I can't tell you how to fix it or whatever. So if a doctor sees that or someone sees that, they're saying good luck because I don't know what the hell I'm doing. But I try my best to extend theories and possibilities as to physiologically why that might be happening, right? So thyroid, right? Number one symptom is you're cold, right? You have heat intolerance. Another one, right? But the coldness, go back to the cold, right? It's like a really freezing, shaking kind of cold, right? I mean, we get cold, we shiver, and it's, we do better. But they just, it's like throwing a cat in cold water, right? They're just frozen for quite a while, and it takes them a while to warm up because they have a problem with the regulation of their temperature. And it kind of sucks, right? I wish they would go outside more, but we got to fix things a step at a time as you see it as it comes. And hopefully they could go back outside and you know do things to support their body, right? That's probably why they can't do a cold plunge. have mixed feelings on a cold plunge. May be beneficial, depends on who you are as a person, but don't do a cold plunge if you have a thyroid problem. Don't do things that are going to be detrimental to your well-being. Okay. So what's the problem? Why are people with thyroid unable to get off of medication? Right. Another thing related to thyroid is a person, their nails. Right. They get this weird crinkly kind of nails. I best describe it as ruffles, like the chips. They got them ruffle-looking nails, and for some reason, the body gives us a sign of poor thyroid health. Some say it's low iodine, low selenium. I know some people who get both, and they still are stuck with horrible thyroid, right? And people with thyroid issues, right, like Hashimoto's, they tend to get H. pylori, so that's interesting. They tend to also can't lose their weight, right? Like they're just plateaued. They can lose some weight, Like I'm sure they're like bigger before. They lose some weight, but they just can't quite break this barrier, right? They can't break through the ground and you know become nice, slim, fit, beautiful, healthy, right? Yeah, there's just a plateau they're stuck on. But again, why? Why is there a plateau? They're giving people these T4 drugs to convert into T3, right? That was thyroxine, right? And it just ain't working. Maybe it's working. I don't know. You're just kind of giving people this thing, and they're like, okay, and then they never get truly better, right? It never solved the root cause. So what caused it? You know, I would have to imagine there's a dysfunction in the body. And where does one find dysfunction? Well, if you only look at the thyroid, you're kind of fucked. Let's be honest, you're fucked. The body is one big system of systems. You have multiple organs, multiple body systems, organ systems, and these systems make up your body system, right? And, we get feedback to and from your systems, right? Your organ systems. So you're focused myopically, right? At thyroid. You give them the iodine, you give them selenium. True, that helps, but they don't really get to the point where they're vastly improved, right? So what might be causing the dysfunction of a thyroid gland? And in my theory, I believe it's a connection to the king of organs, right? And in my opinion, it's the liver. The liver is very important because whatever you eat, whatever you detox, all the hormones, all the metabolic byproducts, they all go through the liver. All of them. Each and every one of them. You cannot escape the wrath of the liver. The liver is like a bouncer, you know? Doesn't matter who goes in through your body, right? It's got to go through your liver one way or the other. Whether it's through your digestion, it goes through your portal veins, you got to detox, all that kind of thing, right? Eventually, everything goes to the liver, right? And I think the problem is, what if you have much more hidden underlying issues that we just haven't thought of before, right? I mean, I hear a lot of people, they do a rather great job, right? Talking about getting your system flowing, right? Get your lymph flowing, get your blood flowing, get your detox processes going, right? That's very good. You should do that. You need to do that. But everyone does it wrong. People feel the need to take copious amounts of herbs like milk thistle, and I think the problem when you take milk thistle and dandelion root and all these things, right, is at the same time you're kind of shutting down your detox system, right? You feel better because your body isn't producing the bile, right? And the bile is toxic, might be making you feel rather bad, right? But again, right, we got to go with vitamins and minerals and amino acids and fatty acids. The macronutrients your body needs. If you keep giving a herb, which is basically a weak drug response, right? Then you're just giving drugs. You know, I talked about it before, right? Yeah, I'm not a pharmacist or a doctor giving pharmaceutical drugs, but they come from plants, and they use these plants to give you this drug-like effect. And if you take a bunch of herbs, you're just resulting in drug-like effects. People don't really take herbs for. Got a message. But yeah, the problem with herbs, right, is it's a drug-like effect, right? You're not solving the root cause of deficiencies you need to properly detox your body. So what I'm thinking, and my theory, right, is people have a liver that's kind of overburdened. It's clogged. It's dealing with a lot of things, right? And yeah, it deals with all your hormones. Stress is a rather big one. If you have cortisol, anxiety, that kind of thing, right? Your liver always has to process that high amount of cortisol, right? So chill, relax, get comfy, learn to breathe, uh, get your B vitamins from eating beef, take some thiamine. That helps a lot. Bentophotamine, if you're that kind of person. I wouldn't recommend allithiamine, although it's good and potent. Um, Again, we're detoxing, right? You're gonna need your sulfation pathways open. And I don't know why people talk about how you need to eat a ton of sulfur to detox. It's I want to be nice because I'm a nice guy and I don't like making people mad, but I think it's really fucking stupid. And let me tell you why I think it's fucking stupid. It's kind of like turmeric, right? I like turmeric. It helps. It has its place, but you don't need it every day, right? For some reason, people think if you take turmeric and it leaves your body, it's a bad thing, right? You need more in you. You need to keep it in there, right? So they pair it with black pepper, piperine, right? So your body can detox. It messes with your alcohol dehydrogenase, with your aldehyde dehydrogenase. It mixes with your oxidation pathways, right? You need to oxidize things before you transmute them through phase 1 to phase 2. Then phase 3, you crap it out, right? Pee it out, right? So what's the deal, right? You're keeping something in your body it doesn't want. You got to understand that your body doesn't want a lot of these things, right? And people have been fighting the liver for quite a while, right? The liver is going to do what it's going to do, right? It finds something, it's going to get it broken down and get rid of it. If it doesn't get rid of it, then maybe it's cold with it. Maybe there's a possible dysfunction with the liver. But they're giving you black pepper extract to keep stuff into your liver. It does it by making your liver dysfunctional to an extent, right? It's not actively getting rid of things it wants out. So again, let's ignore the herbs for helping your liver, thus helping your thyroid. Hopefully. Let's see. After that, what do you do? Well, it's going to take some time, right? If you have underlying illnesses from detoxing, right? You might have a storage of heavy metals in you, right? It happens. Maybe you have a metal ceiling. Maybe you were young and you slept next to a paint back in the 70s full of lead, right? Maybe you're a warfighter, right? Maybe you're a military member and you shoot guns freely, right? There's lead in the gunpowder, and who knows what else is in the gunpowder, right? So you're shooting, you're breathing in your ammunition, the powder goes, doesn't feel good, right? Maybe you ate a lot of bread growing up, right? And they stopped using iodine, which would have been amazing, great, helpful, right? But these potassium bromate and bromate can actually get into a talk, right? Which I want to have because that was really interesting. Now, a lot of people don't know about this, but you have something called the Sodium-Iodide Symporter, right? Cool name, right? Badass. So when your body gets iodine or bromine or iodide or bromide, you know, they're part of the same family in the periodic table, right? People said halogens, right? Halogens, right? Halogen family, I think, right? So the body instinctively knows, all right, we know iodine, so we get iodine. So it goes, it gets the iodine, it binds it to sodium, and it transports it around your body. So if you're low in sodium, you might need sodium. That could possibly help you with the sodium iodide symporter to get it to where it goes, right? To travel. It's got to get from point A to point B. But what happens if you have bromide or bromate? Well, it's going to compete for the receptor, and essentially, the sodium iodide symporter then becomes sodium. I broke in here, took this because I thought it was an iodine, but instead it was actually a bromide, and now it's going to be in a receptor, and it might block it from getting more iodine. So I've never been a chelation kind of guy, right? Chelation, because you kind of lose everything. But eventually, over time, you know, Eat natural, eat as clean as possible, right? Eat some seafood, get your iodine. Eventually, over time, right, you're gonna replete your stores of iodine and get rid of the bromide. And who knows what other horrible, shitty chemicals exist out there, right? So you get that working again properly, right? When it comes to potassium iodide, or what is it? The one they give you when there's a Chernobyl nuclear problem, right? To protect your thyroid. I don't know if it's protective or if it just blocks the receptor. I need to know more about that because that's kind of tricky, and I don't want to do more harm, right? I was reading about a guy named Guy Abraham, guy who talked about oral, the legal solution, right? About how if you do like 10 times more or 100 times more, it's a really high number, right, of iodine, right, in the form of iodide, that it would be beneficial for people and help them with their thyroid problems. The problem is it helps some, didn't help some, and it made some people feel worse. So I don't want to make you feel worse. I want to make you feel better. So we won't go through that. Again, like people that get medication for their thyroid, they do oral or they do a legal solution, and then they just never truly improve, right? Again, what's the moral of my story that I'm telling you, right? Well, the moral of the story is help the liver. The liver helps you with detoxing everything, right? You're taking a bunch of herbs, you're eating raw, eating junk food, eating seed oils, eating a lot of fast food, eating crap from artificial things, you know? You're drinking a lot of plastics, getting xenoestrogens. It's a hormone, your body still got to detox it. Drinking out of aluminum cans, your body has to detox aluminum out of your body. If you still do aluminum deodorant, you still got to detox aluminum and get to the point where you get that nasty smell out of there after months. So, yeah, don't put heavy metals in your body. If you eat a lot of sushi, some people might become mad hatters, feel a bit mad, right? That term comes from when they were producing hats in a factory, and for some reason they put mercury in the hats, and people went crazy. So, if you hear the term mad hatter, it goes beyond Alice. So, don't eat a lot of sushi. I love sushi. Everybody loves sushi, right? It's pretty good. But again, oceans are polluted. Everything you can imagine runs off into the ocean. They're finding plastic and fish in the Mariana Trench, which is like super deep down, right? Like deepest part of the ocean floor. So it's kind of crazy. Again, I wouldn't eat fish from the China, Southeast Asia, Japan region, if I'm saying that correctly. Fukushima, when they had that earthquake, a lot of radiation got loose in Japan, and they're now dumping that radiated water that was treated. I don't know if it's clean. Is anything truly clean completely? I don't know, right? But that's going back to the ocean, so you might see some fallout fish or some mutated weird fish frog thing. I don't know, man. I wouldn't fuck with radiation ever. So beware of that. Also, let's talk about getting your liver right. It needs to happen. If you have all these hormones your body's trying to detox, it already has to deal with a lot from your own body, right? Every carb you eat, right? To an extent, is going to be broken out to some kind of aldehyde and detox. Naturally, that's just what happens, right? You eat other food, there's going to be plant defense chemical compounds in there. Your body must detox that too. And hopefully, I don't know how long it's going to take, right? It might take people years before they feel better. Maybe a few months if you're young and lucky, right? Maybe 5, 10 years if you're an older person, right? But you got to get your liver running. Your detox should be running 24/7. As I say, it's not a cute little juice cleanse and you just magically feel restored and revitalized. It might make you feel horrible because, again, your liver has been running ADH, ALDH to detox. You need minerals, right? People need a lot of zinc. People need molybdenum, right? especially for the sulfation pathway. To run xanthine oxidase, people need amino acids for amino acid conjugation. Very important. People need cysteine, right? Why? So they can make glutathione, another part of detox. And there's also acetylation, methylation. So remember, let's focus on your liver. The liver is the heart of your body, in a sense, right? It's like the center of your body, more or less, right? Because everything goes through there, right? It's kind of like your body's front door in a sense. You want to get in, you got to go through there. You can't really bypass it. You can't really break in. It's your door. You got to go in, and then hopefully you detox and get things out of there. But if you shut down your detox and you're taking herbs, it's probably why you might feel better, but you're not getting to the root cause, right, of getting your body to respond positively to helping your thyroid. So my theory, I'm thinking people aren't detoxing well. People are doing the cute little juice cleanses. They're eating a lot of plant defense chemicals. They haven't gotten toxicity out from their body, heavy metals, that kind of thing, right? I'm not sure how much longer I could go on this because it's pretty cut, dry, and simple. So, what can you do? Well, it's interesting because people talk about, again, a theory. I'm not sure about autoimmunity. I found it to be a weird one, right? So, I'll think to an extent, right? Because everyone's problem is a little different. Everyone has deficiencies here, and they're good in some other places. Vice versa, everyone's kind of different depending on what their diet is, right? Whether you're healthy or not, or you think you're being healthy or not. Yeah, maybe, right? But again, get sufficient sodium. Sodium's good for you. You need that for your Sodium-Iodide Symporter. Which, if you've ever seen a Jason Statham movie called The Transporter, that's kind of what the guy does. He takes it from point A to point B. Cool guy, right? Make sure you have salt for that, right? Eat seafood, right? Organic, fresh, caught, wild caught, that kind of thing, right? Beware of the farm raised ones. A lot of them suck. Again, get it from the more colder regions, right? I hear the Norway one sucks for some reason. A lot of toxicity. They're kind of being farmed off the coast, so that's kind of weird. They're putting dye in the water so they can fake the astaxine look, that nice orange color. So, in my opinion, maybe get fish from Chile, get fish from Alaska, not as polluted as the rest of the world. Not sure about Pacific fish near China, Japan, because of the nuclear radiation being let into the water that was apparently treated or not. I don't know. Better to be safe than sorry. So eat a little more fish and beware of heavy metals. You might need more selenium. Your thyroid needs selenium. It's very important. Um, you get a lot of selenium from meat. That's good. Like beef. Pretty awesome. Zinc, another important one. You get it from beef. But to an extent, people might need to supplement, right? Because you're getting rid of years and years of stored toxins. You got to detox. And it's like what? I believe it's a rate limited reaction. So you can only detox by as much zinc as you have, right? So test with zinc picolinate, maybe 15 milligrams, 20, 30 milligrams max. You don't want to overdo it because you got to balance your copper. But remember, if you overdo it, you're going to feel bad. And everyone is kind of different. For some people, they may need, I don't know, less zinc. So if you got to take half a pill, take half a pill. Because, again, it's a rate limited reaction, right? The more you put in, the more you're going to detox. And if you're detoxing bile that's toxic and full of things that are bad for you, remember, you got to make sure you don't overdo it. If you do, you're going to feel bad. You might get a headache, you have cholestasis, you might get bile in the blood, and, not going to feel so good. Might feel a bit lethargic. It's different for everybody, but mostly somewhat similar. So detox can be taxing. So you use up your B vitamins, of course. You eat meat, it has a lot of B vitamins. Some people may need to supplement with B1 if they eat a lot of grains, a lot of carbs, a lot of fruits. know thyself, so you can help yourself and supplement properly with what's going to help you. And really, you got to add some kind of fiber. Again, right? As I talk about, detox. And at some point, I want to do more research, investigation with what I would imagine I would call it autoimmune suppression theory. Why is it that people do herbs? They feel good, but they're not detoxing. And at some point, years later, that dam breaks, and then boom, they're just kind of fucked. All these health problems. It's amazing how long the body can suppress something, and then you feel it later, right? So beware, right? Do vitamins, do minerals. You need that. That's like the basis of why we live. Besides, of course, getting your macro energy needs from, fat. You do carbs if you're that kind of person. You need to. Depends. At this point, right? If you want to consult with me, we can talk about the least toxic foods to eat to help you with your detox, because it's a very special detox. It's kind of limited, again, but not as limited as a muscle meat carnivore kind of diet. Again, it's different. Everyone has different circumstances in the world, what their access is, what they have or don't have. So, I'll work with you with what you got, and we do the best. And I try to make sure it's not going to break the bank, because the economy sucks and it's going to get worse. It's already getting worse. It's been 5 years, everything's gone up exponentially. You know, I hear old people talk about how back in their day, they ate like, what, whole loaf of bread for 10 cents, milk for a quarter. Can't imagine that. So, inflation's bad, it might get worse. I have hope. I'm pessimistically optimistic, but, things always do get better. Sometimes things get worse before they get better. Be mindful of that. So, again, fiber. You need fiber. I hear if you're constipated, you remove fiber, you'll do better. If you need to, good. Important, right? You guys start pooping again. I think the problem for some people when they're constipated and they're not pooping is they don't eat a lot of fat. That's why when people do keto carnivore the first time, they're like shitting diarrhea, just runny and kind of burning acidic feeling. It's because they're finally giving their gallbladder the fat it needs to dump bile. But again, you want to figure out who you are as a person, right? Some people do amazing with soluble fiber. Some people do even better with insoluble fiber, right? Oh my God, there's two different fibers. Who would have known, right? There is two kind of fibers, right? When you say take fiber, always say insoluble or soluble, right? Because they're different, and people feel differently on them. So never conflate fiber as just one thing. Fiber does have nuance and differences in how it goes. Soluble fiber is kind of gel-like; it builds up. Then you have insoluble fiber, which you can think about it when you eat like corn and you crap it down, it comes out whole. You know, it's more mechanical. I think one of the mechanisms of action for, let's say, psyllium husk. I like psyllium husk as a insoluble fiber. So the way that works is it kind of irritates the walls of your gut, and then you crap. Interesting. I think people can overdo soluble fiber and just plug themselves up and be constipated. So beware. Again, nuance, very important. If you take a dump and it doesn't come out, you're constipated. So you probably took way too much fiber. Some people need 1 gram of fiber, 2 grams of fiber, 5 grams of fiber, at most 30 grams of fiber, but don't overdo it, right? Because you can only crap so much, right? So fiber. Okay, again, I like to explain why you need certain things. So you don't need fiber because it's a necessary nutrient, right? It's not, you don't need it, you can live without fiber. But again, I talk about we live in a modern world, modern problems, modern solutions, right? So we lived 1,000 years ago when there was no pollution and we were all carnivores, right? Hunky dory, happy, no pollution, minding your own business. Then that'd be cool. That'd be fine, right? because there would be such a lack of toxicity in the world, right? No plastics, no bisphenols, no phthalates, no forever chemicals, no toxic heavy metals, no glyphosate. That shit's poison. No paraquat, another poison. Every insecticide and pesticide, that is poison. That should be banned. It's hurting people. People don't even realize the damage it does to your gut and immune system. So 1,000 years ago, there was any of that. So if you're a carnivore, that was fine. That was cool because you could. So there's something called the enterohepatic recirculation. So the body produces bile, and of course you need fat, you need cholesterol to make your bile, right? For bile acids, and you need your bile acids to poop, right? To kind of stimulate the gut motility and peristalsis. The way it works is you have all these muscles in your intestine, and they're just kind of pushing it along, right? The crap, just kind of pushing it along, like squeezing a hose, right? You could imagine like that. So what happens then? You're recirculating your bile. Back then, our bile wasn't really toxic, per se, because the world wasn't really polluted. But today, in a polluted world of all these things, we got to take measures to prevent as much of the enterohepatic recirculation, right? On a standard American diet, it's anywhere from 95% gets recirculated. So when it comes to the recirculation, we want to reduce it by using fiber. You want to bind more bile to the fiber to properly get rid of it, right? And one of the signs you can kind of tell, right? I mean, I'm the kind of guy who loves looking at poop, best thing ever. You take a nice dump, you're like, damn, it's beautiful. I did go in today. Very proud. Here's a star. But a good sign to know that you're detoxing well, right? And getting rid of the bile, excess bile, right? If you look in the toilet and you wait for a little bit and there's like a slightish yellowish haze, that means you were able to find enough bile in the poop to see that there's excess there. And after a while, you notice it actually will stain your toilet because it's very acidic, very toxic, that kind of thing. And that's how you know you're detoxing. So, with everything I just said, wrapping it up, well, it's only 37 minutes. I don't think I'll be able to do hours anymore. Maybe. This was supposed to be like a 20-minute talk, but again, I just keep rambling. Because of all this, we have a thyroid problem. You gotta focus on the liver. And if you're a person born with jaundice, you might have impaired liver. If you're a drinker, you definitely have an impaired liver. Stop drinking, please. That shit's poison. I believe it shuts off your immune system. I believe it shuts off your detox for like 3 good days. You're storing esters in your liver. The body doesn't want to die, so it's going to keep you fat. And that's why you get fatty liver and you do too much, you get scarring, you gotta stop neglecting your body. Just how smoking is bad for your lungs and you get cancer. Alcohol's gonna give you bad problems with your kidneys, bad problems with your liver. You don't want hepatitis, that's horrible. You don't want to be on dialysis. You want to avoid a lot of these things, right, that are bad for you. So don't sabotage your body and don't sabotage your health. Maybe some people who did steroids have bad livers too, right? People who do a lot of drugs, right, for other conditions or whatever, that can also negatively and profoundly impact your liver, thus affecting the function of your thyroid. At some point, right, looking through a systems engineering approach, right, you can find that all these things are influencing and messing with your body. So if your thyroid's messed up, check your liver. Check your breathing. Maybe you're breathing in toxins all day, right? Maybe you live in a moldy house, a dirty house, right? Maybe you have a office that's full of, it rained, it flooded, whatever. Oh no, there's a bunch of black mold and shit on top. Even the yellow and the green one. So again, it's ochratoxin. You're gonna get sick from that. You're breathing it in, right? and you're gonna get sick. So there's a lot of factors out there, right? So if you want to consult with me, I could talk with you one-on-one in depth. I don't like doing group things because everyone likes to get personal, and it can be more hands-on and engaging with a person, right? If it's a group, then it's very surface area. I can't go down and deeper and get to the root cause of everything because we all live vastly different lives. We've all been to different places in the world. No one's lived the exact life, so our issues and problems may be similar but different ways, of course. And again, that's really all I gotta say, right? Usually at some point I'll ramble on about aliens. Not much information about that. There's some Maui stuff, kind of crazy. Nothing going on there, but yeah, just kind of been busy. Maybe tomorrow, next time, I don't know. I'll make a video talking about myself, so you know who your nutritionist is gonna be, who I am, who you're listening to, because people like it when things get personal, right? Personable, right? I guess in a sense, right? I don't really show my face often, but I suppose now that I'm doing this, we'll be seeing a lot more of my face quite more often. And yeah, I can hold it here. It's pretty good. Again, this is Gabe's Nutritional Health Ramblings, episode 11. I was supposed to do episode 10 with a video, but I got lazy. But here we are. I think this is pretty good, right? Pretty cool. So, yeah, everybody, have a great day. Enjoy my face. There's more of it to come. If you want to set up an appointment, book an appointment, please. That'd be cool. You can go to my website, DM me on Instagram. You can talk more there. And again, have an amazing day. Be great. Stay healthy. I hope this video helps. And yeah, stay amazing.